Shadows rise like morning sun, chasing points, the game's begun. Big decisions week by week, fantasy glory's what we seek. Pick your squad, the clock won't wait. Captain choice will seal your fate. Two enthusiasts breaking it down. Fantasy kings, we're taking the crown.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Tinker Time, an FPL pod, the show for every fantasy Premier League manager who's already second-guessing their latest draft. It's Tuesday, January 13th, 2026, and whether you're wildcarding after Week 21 or just here to scout some differentials, you've come to the right place. I'm Matt, alongside Jim, and we're here to help you tweak, test, and yes, tinker your way to the top of your mini-leagues. We'll break down the best value picks, fixture trends, and hidden gems, so you don't have to stare at your squad screen in despair. So let's pop the hood, crack open the spreadsheet, and get tinkering. Jim, I say this with great honor and a great pleasure. How the hell are you?
What a treat it is to be back tinkering in the lab with you. In 20 days, I think?
Who's keeping track, right?
I don't know. It's been a whirlwind. A lot of stuff going on with the holidays, a lot of fixtures, some FA Cup mixed in. Lots happened, but we're back.
We are back. I'm sure most of our listeners or our listener was probably expecting with all these fixtures that we would just be, throwing a ton of content out there. We tricked you. We did the opposite. We were trying to keep you guys on your toes. We went the opposite route and we went mute just to see if you were paying attention. I don't know.
When everybody dips, we dodge. You gotta avoid the trends.
Keep them on their toes. No, but in all seriousness, it was busy time just around the holidays, like you mentioned, and it's good to be back for sure. I'm well rested. I am rejuvenated. I'm ready to make up some ground. It's been a tough couple of game weeks here personally, and
you're slipping.
I have been slipping. I can't blame the Egyptian god anymore because he hasn't been around. I've just been missing. I've been missing.
A lot of games left.
A lot of games left. We've got chips have been restored. So, they've been kind of refilled, if you will. You've got your wild card back. You've got your triple captain, your bench boost. I'm just going through and naming all the chips. I think there's still a couple of teams. And I want to say Morocco just got eliminated too. I think I saw the hosts. They got eliminated, I want to say.
I'm going to be honest. I have not paid attention.
Well, that's extremely insensitive to our African listeners, so I apologize on your behalf.
I was upset Semenyo wasn't there, so that's why I didn't want to watch.
Well, he was busy. Kind of just really giving it to Spurs in the last minute there, right before he took the trip up to Manchester to put on those powder blues. So,
I got duped by a fake Fabrizio. Here we go. I thought he had left before the Spurs game. And then I look and I see that he's the one that scores the winner. Tough.
Yeah. We I actually saw and I did a little bit of research on it because I was kind of ticked, but it turned out it ended up being AI. But there was a picture of Semenyo in like full city training gear, and it looked like it was from the summertime. And everyone was pointing out, they were like, "Oh, that's so weird, right? Like, why is he dressed in all this city garb? It's the middle of the winter. Why is the sun out and he's in shorts and a t-shirt?" But it turned out it was AI. So, you got to be careful out there. Got to be careful.
Technology is coming for us.
This technology, it's making me thirsty.
I don't know. I'm kind of distracted by the picture of me on my new laptop here. I think I'm getting paler by the second.
Subtle flex. Jim got a new laptop, but yeah, you look like you could use a little bit of the color. That's okay.
Some sun.
Some sun.
Some sleep.
Definitely some sleep. Did your kids let you sleep in for Christmas? Just
no,
curious.
No, not this year. Well, it was normal time. It wasn't, an absurd 4 a.m. wake up, which, can't complain.
What was your favorite gift from Christmas this year? Go ahead.
The time spent with family and friends.
Okay.
It's the
And
greatest.
then materially, because we are a materialistic society, what was your favorite gift?
Some new cookbooks. My wife got me some new cookbooks.
Do you think that's because she thinks you don't know how to cook, or because you don't know how to read?
There are a lot of pictures. That's a picture.
It's scratch and sniff.
It's a coloring book. It's a coloring book.
Love that for you.
Yeah. How about yourself?
I would say my favorite gift, my lovely dear wife, if she's listening, she's asleep right now, but she got both of us, and I'm waiting until we get the chance to kind of break them in together. But she got us a set of whiskey glasses that are etched with our logo. So I
I'm excited to see these.
yeah.
I'm a I didn't mean to laugh at the gift. I was laughing. I was a little surprised you didn't say time spent with family and friends as well, but I
Oh
guess the
no,
glasses are good.
m- my kids were home from daycare for 14 days straight. I've spent enough time with them for most of the year at this point. Do you know how many times I've watched the fireworks go off in Australia at New Year's Eve? Like the YouTube video, like probably 15 or
Yes.
16 times.
Oh, no. You did it more than once. You celebrate it
Uh,
every day.
yeah, like probably even on like January 3rd or 4th. My daughter loved it. She loved New Year's Eve celebration.
Fireworks just I don't know. We can move past that as a society, right? I mean, they were cool in, the '50s and '60s when you didn't have anything else going on, but
Probably. We've evolved. Yeah, we can have AI fireworks now. I think that would make more sense.
a cool drone show.
Droid. So yeah, so this episode, we're not going to necessarily get into the deadline episode just yet. We'll try to get back on the mic before game week 22. And it's honestly been, so many game weeks that have passed that it doesn't really make sense to do a full recap because we would be here for hours and hours.
Hmm.
So what we wanted to do is kind of just do a level set, right? Get a little bit of time here to recalibrate. We'll talk
Buzzword
through kind of
buzzwords.
buzzword. Yeah, I work in corporate America. Um, W2 season, be careful. So, we'll just kind of, see where we're at. We'll kind of see what the storylines are for each team. Kind of what's the buzz around each team, some players, some things to look out for as we move into kind of the second half of the season here. And yeah, get yourself equipped and ready to move into the new year here and really make a push to the top of your table. So with that said, team of the season here. So we usually kick things off with, player of the week, biggest flops, but we want to give some kudos and flowers to the players who have somehow made it to the team of the season. So rounding it off, uh, keeper, we have our boy Ropes over at, with those black cats, 95 points
Yeah.
for the campaign. Back line, we've got a back three. We've got Gabriel Magahales, or however you say it, with 112 points. Pretty impressive considering he missed a few game weeks. Mark Gahey, current Palace defender. We'll see if he makes it through that transfer window.
For now.
With a Yeah, I know he was supposed to be slotted for Liverpool, but I've heard recently he might be on his way to City with all their defensive injuries. But we'll see. He's sitting at 105 points, and Julian Timber with 104. So two Arsenal defenders in that back line making that team of the season. Moving on to the midfield, we've got the bitch boy Declan Rice with 122 points. New City asset Anton Semenyo with 120 points, who's looked good in his first
Right.
couple of City appearances. I think he nabbed another goal today against Newcastle. Speaking of Newcastle, Bruno Guimaraes with 117 points. Who would have saw that one
For the
coming when
whole
the
year
season
so far.
started? Good for him, man. Another name who just, consistent as always, even in a system that nobody thought he was going to be really getting those points. Bruno Fernandes, 106 points. And last but not least, kind of probably not on anyone's radar, Harry Scary himself, Harry Wilson with 102 points. So rounded out that midfield five. And up in the front line, we've got two forwards who have stood out head and shoulders above everyone else. The Viking himself, Erling Haaland, with 163 points, your player of the season thus far, and Igor Thiago, the Brentford B, with 120 points. This team in total, 1,266 points on this season. What a return. I got to be honest, Jim, looking at this team on paper, I think it's completely affordable.
I was just looking at that same thing. You probably could have started the season with this and then not made a transfer, no?
Yeah, I think you could have because
Yeah,
I mean, Holland's your one premium. Bruno is up there. Gabriel's your one premium defender. But I mean, other than that, I think even if you stashed,
yeah. It'd be
just,
close, but
bare bones on the bench,
yeah,
I think you'd get pretty close, especially if you got Semenyo, when I think he started the season at 7 mil and he kind of
very
moved
true.
up. mean, all of these players have obviously had price rises, but yeah, I mean, good for these guys, you know?
Yeah.
What's your
Well,
biggest surprise on this list?
so I mean, probably I've mentioned it a few times this season. Rice has killed me. I'm dead. He buried me. I mean, unbelievable 122 points out of him. Way more of an offensive threat than I ever imagined, plus getting all those defensive contributions. So I'd say the fact that he's the highest scoring midfielder is a shock. I mean, the fact that he's a top five is a shock, but the fact that he's
Yeah.
number one is, doubly so. So definitely Rice. I'm surprised to see Wilson on there, as I think that's probably the obvious one. So I
Mm.
skip that. But I think I'm more surprised to see Bruno on there because he had such a slow start to the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
United could not score anything. Their new signings weren't clicking, but he's turned it on. And I mean, it's the same story for the last few years. Despite everything falling apart around him at United, he's just been incredible and kind of their only bright spots. I mean, good for him. He's really making a legacy for himself over there, even with all the turmoil in the last 5 or so years.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what's interesting too is if you look at kind of, the 6th and 7th, kind of the slight list, the folks who just fall out of this top 5, you've got Morgan Rogers, who's got 101 points. So, you could almost swap him in with Harry Wilson there. And you got Foden with 100 points. So, if I think to your point, Wilson's a surprise, but if you saw Foden up there, let's say, maybe he had one more game where he featured at the beginning of the season, it wouldn't be surprising at all to see Foden up here. Same with Rogers if, maybe Villa didn't get off to such a slow start. I'll be very honest though, not seeing Palmer on here, obviously the injuries, but there's one player on here that I think, above everyone, he's kind of going under the radar as a flop. And I think it's really just because they're sitting top of the table. Bukayo Saka, and I don't
Mm.
mean, obviously, folks can tell at this point we are, Spurs supporters. Saka, I feel like, yes, he has 98 points on the season. He always seems to, get more than kind of the 2 points just for kind of being on the pitch. But if you look at his numbers, I mean, 98 points from I mean, let's call it as it is. He's priced at 10.2 million. He's a premium midfielder. He's not even cracking the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on this list.
Yeah.
He really hasn't had any injury concerns, like serious injury concerns to speak of. He really doesn't have any competition where he's fighting for minutes on that right-hand side. He's supposed to be the featured player. Is this a function of some of those penalties, being taken off of him? I don't know. But I think, Saka for me has been a disappointment. And you hit on it too. It's like, at the beginning where I've been kind of sliding down in the rankings. I think for me, it's purely just been I've been sticking with Saka for the last few weeks, and I probably should just stop being so stubborn and switch that over to Rice and Gabriel because
Yeah.
it's such a clear difference. Rice has almost 30 points on Saka, and Gabriel at 112 points. I mean, the drop off from him to say, the 5th best defender is almost 20 points right there. So, I mean, that's almost, we're talking 50 points right there, just going
Yeah.
from Saka to those two players. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that might be a good jumping off point to switch over to table talk. So obviously
Love it.
Arsenal still top of the table, 49 points. Everybody's now played 21 matches. 21 matches. So yeah, 6 point lead, even on goal differential from City. So I mean,
It's interesting.
the title is, quote, theirs to lose at this point. But like you said with Saka, I think kind of the storyline that we've seen so far, and we kind of had been joking about it last year and into this year, is that all their goals are continuing to come from defenders. I mean,
Mm,
Rice is crucial to them, and their signings, Trossard's chipping in here and there, and I mean, they're getting nothing out of Gyökeres. Odegaard's been injured in and out. It's like it's the same story, and yeah, to your point, Saka has not been the Saka we've seen in the past, but still just awarded with a new 5-year contract. But
yeah.
really, it's their defense that has carried them to this point and will need to continue to carry them because they're just not scoring the same amount of goals as they've seen in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting. I think I mean, you nailed it. It's their title to lose. We've seen them have the lead going into the new year, top of the table, and lose with a larger gap. So it's not out of the question.
Hmm.
But, this seems to be, City now having all these injuries in the back line. If there was ever a season for Arsenal to really just, grab this one by the throat and just kind of, choke slam them, this could be the season. It
Yeah.
should be the season. When I think about players to really target here, I really feel like the only other player that maybe you're seeing some folks look to target, I don't think at this point anyone could look for Gyökeres. I think it really is Rice, Gabriel, and Timber. Gabriel, I think any sort of concern for injury, he's clearly come back healthy. I think since he's been back since game week 18 or 19, whatever it was, he came back. I think he's had like 2 goal contributions, maybe an assist. I think a couple clean sheets. So his contributions have been through the roof since he's been back. Um, and if you had Raya in your team, like one co-host on this record that will go nameless, um, you kind of need to find a way to find that extra, zero point 0.3 or zero point 0.4 mil, whatever it is right now. I don't know what the prices are off the top of my head, but find a way to get Timber or Gabriel. Find a way to make that swap. I'm not saying necessarily take a hit to do it, uh, but you know, Raya, he's not necessarily getting the save points. Gabriel and Timber are getting attacking returns left and right.
Mm.
Rice is getting attacking returns left and right. It just makes way too much sense. So that I think is really where the target and the focus should be, as far as FPL assets go for Arsenal the rest of the way until Saka or Odegaard go on one of those runs like maybe they had last season. But I don't know if there's anyone else you're looking at. I think Eze is not even on the radar right now. He's barely getting minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, he had a good game against Spurs, but yeah, the midfield is just too inconsistent apart from Rice for me.
Yeah. And Spurs can't really be a barometer for anyone. I mean,
Yeah. And I mean,
yeah,
their defense is so good that it's like, want your assets, your Arsenal assets to be defenders.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, 4 wins out of their last 5. We'll see if they can keep that form up, you know?
We'll see. We'll see if they can hold off City. So City's in second place, 43 points, so 6 behind. They're level on points with the team in third, who we'll talk next, but they have a huge differential to put him in second off them. So City, I mean, I think that the real storylines are Haaland is continuing to be incredible. Basically, a set and forget captain pick that you really in the long term you should be fine doing. I mean, he had an incredible start to the season, and really everything was going through him. But then, in the last 10 or 15 weeks or so, the second half of the first half, I'd say, we really started to see more contributions from Foden and Cherky and some of the other midfielders. So I think it's encouraging from an FPL's perspective that, I think the expectations for Foden were really high at the beginning of the year, filling in for De Bruyne. But they just got off to such a slow start. But now, they're contributing. On the other side of it, do you trust City assets, midfielders with how bad their defense is looking moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think, going into the season, it was Ait Nori, it was Guardiol. I mean, Guardiol's going to be out for months with his injury. Ruben Diaz is going to be out for months with his injury. John Stones has no return in sight as far as I'm concerned. So that brings Kuzanov back into the picture. They just brought back their boy Aline, I believe, who came back from loan on Watford, who had a goal in his first feature, like right back into the first team against Exeter, I think it was, who I think they put 10 past. So, I
Yeah.
don't know what you may take from that. Nico O'Reilly, once Nori comes back from AFCON, does he hold that position down? It kind of seems like he is going to hold that down, which I know, I've been on record saying his minutes might be up for debate, but he seems to, kind of have solidified himself, kind of seems to trust him in that spot. So, is he in there purely for the defensive piece or is he in there for the attacking contribution? I mean, I don't like to bring in defenders that are purely in there for their attacking contribution. I would prefer to bring in a defender where at least in, week out, they have a likelihood of getting a clean sheet. So to your point, do I like City's likelihood of a clean sheet right now? No, I would I would steer away from any sort of City defender right now, including their keeper, the Paisan. I hate to do that to him, but, he's my consigliere. So, yeah, to your point, it's Foden, it's Shirky, it's Holland, who has gotten some criticism, actually. I think I've seen in the interwebs that, he seems to have slowed down a little bit. But to be very honest, I mean, who could
People are
keep up
watching the
that
same
pace?
game.
Yeah, I mean, well, no one's gonna keep up that pace over 38 games, and playing European competitions and English cups and whatnot. So, I mean, folks just have to be a little bit they have to
Yeah.
temper their expectations a little bit. Obviously, they made a splash bringing in Semenyo coming over from the Cherries. There's some technicalities within the game. So if you have Semenyo from previous ownership, you may now have four, City players in your squad, which will be allowed. However, you will not be able to make another transfer until you move Semenyo out, or not Semenyo, but you move another City player out. It could be Semenyo, it could be another City player. So if you're happy with your squad and you want to ride your squad out for the rest of the season, you can have four City players. I don't know if I would recommend that at this point. It's pretty early in the season to do that, but it is out there as an option. As far as, we talked a little bit about if Semenyo were to move, does he become an option? It seems like Pep is going to play him.
Yeah. He's already had 2 goals and an assist.
Yeah, yeah.
So
What
who
do
do
you
you
think about
I think he's gonna start on the left. Wouldn't will play more central, along with
Turkey on the right?
on the right or Turkey central? I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
mean,
know
what is it? And
I
then what
didn't
does that mean for
say.
like Marmoush and all the other players that they
Yeah,
have? Savino, like I mean, they have so much attacking depth. The window's not closed yet either. So that could be another thing that could help maybe make your decision a little bit easier if some of those players move out. Maybe Semenyo's role becomes a little bit clearer.
yeah,
Or, maybe those players stay and Semenyo just continues to get those minutes. But if he's going to keep scoring goals, he's probably going to continue to get the minutes.
yeah. I mean, they're gonna need him. They're not
Yeah.
gonna keep many clean sheets, so they're gonna need as many goals as they can. But
Yeah,
but good thing is they already have a big goal differential off of 3rd place.
they
So
do.
another surprise, Villa, 43 points, 3rd place, kinda similar to what we were saying, some of the early season games, it was a slow start. Watkins didn't score for 7 weeks, maybe?
It's quite a few.
It was quite a long time. So after a summer of, a lot of striker transfer drama, Watkins stayed, didn't get snatched up, and really unbelievably so a slow start. But through all that, I mean, they'd quietly gone on and racked up a huge win streak. The last 10 games or so. So I think we had this conversation uh, a month or so ago. It was like, who do you want, Watkins, Buendia, or Rogers? And because it's kind of been inconsistent where those are coming from. I think, you mentioned Rogers was just outside the top 5 for team of the season so far. So I'd say
Right.
he's probably the answer, but I don't know. Emmy's
Yeah.
just got him clicking.
Yeah. Um, I don't think Villa's gonna push City or Arsenal for the title. I think they're probably gonna push for a Champions League spot at this rate, just kind of, seeing where some of the other teams and seeing kinda, the amount of points they've accumulated thus far. That goal differential is something to keep an eye on, but, I think ultimately they're gonna be sitting pretty. Like you said, players to watch. Villa actually have a very nice run over the next, like, maybe 10 to 12 game weeks. I want to say after they get through the next 2 or 3. So basically from game week 23 to about game week 30, 32. Don't quote me perfectly, give or take, plus or minus 1 or 2 game weeks there. But Villa have a pretty attractive fixture run. So much
Mm.
so that, if you wanted to consider bringing in, say, a Matty Cash, or even like I hate to say it because he's a center back and he's not really going to get you the attacking returns, but maybe like a Victor Lindelof, who it seems to have been getting some center back minutes, um, you know, pretty consistently back there. Could be somebody you might want to, on a differential. Could be someone that you look to bring in. But yeah, I think Rogers is really that consistent player that you would look to bring in. Emi Buendia, John McGinn, like they get their goals, but like I
They're like
can't say,
they're those frustrating players. It's like,
yeah, yeah, like, I
you
can't
know,
say FPL asset and their names in the same sentence. I just can't do it.
like, yeah,
And if they're
good
listening,
for
I'm sorry.
them. good for you guys. I'm glad you have a great career and you're scoring in the Premier League. But come on, you're
Yeah.
not helping anybody here.
In the words of Cher, enough is enough is enough. Nope, that's not Cher. Who is that song?
I don't know that song, and I
I'll
know
have
shit.
to yeah. If I could turn back time, I would probably quote that singer
You got
correctly.
me right. Yeah, you can find a way.
Anything else
Anyway,
on Villa? I
no,
mean, no.
it's really those couple of guys you're going to be targeting. Maybe during that nice run you said you want to take a shot and bring Watkins in and hope that he finds some old form, but that's kind of a shot in the dark differential.
Take a shot, take a chance, and break away.
Who is almost going to be breaking away from the club? Arnie Slot's boys, 4th place, 35 points, +4 differential. You gotta say that this is a tremendous disappointment for them coming out of the title last season, spending an ungodly amount of money over the summer, winning the first 5 games, and then just looking like they pooped their pants. I mean, there's no other
Well,
to say besides disappointing.
I would almost make a counter argument
Oh,
and say that
they did not poop their pants.
well, hear me out. Let me get through this. There's definitely a little bacon stain in their pants for sure. There is a little schmear going on there in those trousers. They don't even wear boxers there. I think they wear like speedos. But
Jocks.
listen, there is so much of this season that is about transition for them, right? Where they obviously brought in a lot about they are transitioning. We can say that. It was probably a little premature to think that they weren't going to go through some growing pains. It wasn't all just going to click immediately, especially knowing that Isak had his whole saga over the summer. He didn't come in. They didn't get like a full real, off-season training camp and whatnot, whatever they call it. What you've seen the
OTAs.
last, you know, yeah, OTAs. What you've seen the last, 5 game weeks, 2 wins, 3 draws. Verts seems to have, kind of started to show some glimpses of, figuring it out.
Mhm.
Ekatike, who never really seemed super uncomfortable, but he has kind of grabbed onto that number 9 role and said, hey, I'm here. I can play in this league. This Isak guy, he's someone else. He's got one leg that is still, unfractured. Yeah, whatever's going on with the other one. Um, you know, so case in point, right? If there's any positive to take away from this, it's we can sell or we can move on from Mo and we can be successful with the squad that we have. If you look at some of the other players, Gravenberg's sitting at 94 points on the season, having an excellent campaign.
Mhm.
Kirkez hasn't really figured it out yet.
Been
You know,
injured a lot too.
been injured a lot. Frimpong has been injured a lot, but he's also now, right now, because of AFCON, he's playing a little bit out of position, but he did have an assist to Verts the other day as well. So, you're seeing some versatility in some of these players. So again, long-winded way of saying no bacon stain, a little bacon stain, not a full poopy, but
This is your way of blaming it
maybe
out. Oh, right.
I'm blaming it on, well, I'm
This is
not
what you're
blaming
doing.
it
You're
on.
saying they figured it out once he left.
No, I'm saying that they won last season. They can take a little bit of pleasure in, hey, we've done a lot of winning in the last few seasons. If we don't win this season, let's at least get a little confidence going into
See
next
that.
season
I can see that.
that it's going to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they are benefiting from the hot start they had and the slow start everybody else had. So they've kind of weathered the storm. They're still in 4th place despite us saying
Right.
how poor of a season it's been. So I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I wasn't as eloquent as I needed to be there, but we're enthusiasts. We're not experts.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I think, yeah, moving forward, they're going to be a scary team once they figure it out. But yeah, I think the
Verts
expectations
has,
are just too high
yeah,
coming into the
yeah.
season.
I agree. I agree. And I think Verts has quietly kind of brought himself back into that conversation as like being selectable.
I've got him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. I know you do.
Not the barometer for.
Yeah, not the Brown. Well, no, I say that because I think we were talking it was before game week 19, I think it was. And I think I had said to you, I was like, oh, I was going to bring in Verts, Gravenberg, and I think it was one other player. And then I ended up bringing in Gordon and Stock. And like immediately, Verts had a goal. Gravenberg had a goal. Like it literally was like, if I had just done the move that I had set out to you that I was going to make, I would have had a great week. And that disconnect between my instincts and what I actually did, they're not clicking right now.
Yeah.
No.
Who is clicking, despite some big holes that were left after the offseason? Brentford.
Big gaping holes.
Brentford, 5th place, 33 points. So 2 behind Liverpool. Pretty good. Plus 7 point differential. So this is coming off of them losing Wemo, Wissa, and Thomas Frank. I mean, the fact that they're sitting in 5th is maybe the most surprising table
Oh, it's
place.
gotta be.
I'll hold that. Sunderland is pretty amazing too. But Brentford, I mean, they lost their whole attack for the last 2 seasons was those 2 guys. So the fact that they're here is great.
Is it? Is it great?
It's fine. It's great for
Yeah.
them. It's not great for FPL. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you
I
said
think
it.
the only
Shad, to bring.
Yeah, that was the other
Shad.
player. That was the other player. We mentioned it on the
Yes,
last episode. I
just
think we
about it.
recorded. I was like, "Oh, if you really want to punt, he's owned by 0.9%. He's priced at 7 mil, super affordable. Mr. Shada himself." And he goes out and gets a Hattie. I mean, that was just
Hattie right after
incredible.
that. 2 assists since. Yeah, he's
Painful. Painful. Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see Thiago get a couple of non-penalty goals as well because he had blanked quite a bit. I know a lot of folks were ready to move on from him, but he kind of silenced some folks or kind of, stuck it to some of the folks that maybe did move on from him. Mm,
he had
but as far
a
as
Hattie and then a brace.
yes, it was. You're right. It was a hat trick. I forgot he got one there in the last minute there. But I don't know if there's really anyone outside of Thiago that you'd be looking to bring in
No.
seriously. I mean, Shada is again, he's a true differential in every facet of the term. If you're trying to make up ground, I guess he's someone you would consider. If you've got like so much of a lead that you're just trying to mess around with folks, yeah, maybe you could have some fun with it. But not a part of the template, not somebody that I would
Yeah.
seriously look at.
But Thiago's been so consistent and at such a good price point that get him in, keep him, don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
You get them coverage.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really biting my tongue because I want to definitely say that maybe this Brentford team is just exposing that maybe Thomas Frank is not that great a manager because they seem to have more points now that Frank has left. But we're not here. We're not going to talk about that today.
We're not going to talk about that. But if we were, I might agree with you.
Yeah. Well, Frank is not at Brentford. He's at Spurs. So maybe by the time we get to the 14th team in the table,
Yeah, we
we
might
can talk about it.
have to really speed up before we're all right. 6th place, Newcastle, 32 points, tied with the position in 7th, but they're ahead by 1 goal on point differential. So, yeah, kind of. I mean, they were tied up with the Alexander Isak transfer drama to start the season. Yeah, they eventually sold him. They brought in Voltemade. They brought in Vissa. They brought in Alenga, who really has been kind of a question mark. But they've looked great at times, and then sometimes they haven't been so great.
Not so great. Yeah.
I think their defense is a disappointment coming off of the last few years. I think there's some of those. Bird and Shar had always been kind of consistent players you could at least keep in there, and Trippier. But I think at this season, it's really Voltemade, Gordon, and probably Guimaraes. Really the 3, if you're going 3 Newcastle assets, I would avoid their defense and hit those.
I disagree with you on one of those players.
You're done with Voltemade.
I think you have to be done with Voltemade for 2 reasons.
Start to the season.
Great start to the season when he had seemingly no competition. When Vissa was injured, I don't think Voltemade's minutes were really in question.
No,
Vissa is back.
Yeah, there's never enough.
Yeah.
There was never enough to have 4 players up top. So you're right.
Right. Yeah. So, Vissa's back. He's also priced the same. So it's not even like there's really oh, well, he's so much cheaper or he's so much more expensive that it makes sense to take the risk on one or the other. It's literally a coin flip at this point. We don't know who's going to start game to game, and neither one has really been contributing or performing that much better than the other. I think we saw Vissa have a goal in the European competition the other week. Vissa had an assist. Sorry, Voltemade had an assist to Barnes, I think, in the last game they had against Leeds, I believe it was. That was like a 7-goal thriller or something like that, where Barnes had the game-winning goal there. So, either way, the point being, if you were looking to bring in the third forward, I think there's a very, very, a strong case to be made that Voltemade should be moved out. And I would agree with your point. Anthony Gordon is still a good asset, and Bruno Guimaraes, it's hard to ignore him just because look at the point totals.
Yeah.
I mean,
Top 3.
it's crazy that we're saying that. I hope he gets supplanted at some point during the season because it hurts me to the core that he's, but
It hurts me because I was high on him last year. I had him a bunch, and it didn't do it for me last year. But what are you gonna do?
these Brazilians, man, you got to watch out for them. Ask Zelensky.
Speaking of Brazilians,
Cunha.
on the other side of what is it, seventh place in United again, 32 points, plus 4-point differential. New manager Michael Carrick. Best of luck.
Good for him.
Best of luck.
Caretaker.
The end of the
Caretaker.
season. Yeah.
Yeah.
No drama with the title now. That was very explicit that he was the caretaker.
No drama. No drama. This is a music app.
Yeah. Again, probably a disappointing season. I mean, definitely a disappointing start to the season given their signings. They brought in Cunha and Buemo and Sheshko. They're supposed to be the revamped top 3. I don't know what kind of formations that were being thrown out there. I mean, Dorgu was a flop. Should have cut their losses there a long time ago. But
yeah.
We'll see. I mean, they've like we said, Bruno, despite all that, again having a great season and refusing to just roll over. So they've done enough to get themselves into 7th. I wouldn't say they're off the table now that Mbuemo's going to be back to start bringing somebody in that maybe not be Bruno, but defense wise, I think you still avoid him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think defensively, Dorgu's so cheap that maybe if you look at their run, but I'm interested to see what Carrick does, as far as lineup goes. I imagine, to be very honest though, that it's not like they're in like a free fall where they have to change the lineup up. I imagine it's more of a tactical change than anything. Maybe we get the resident, United supporter. I think we know one, the commish. We can maybe get his take on the appointment and kind of see what he's thinking, what will transpire. But yeah, I mean, I think this is probably really good news for Bruno owners or potential owners, where maybe he doesn't sit so deep and he's already in top 5 as far as middies go. Maybe we see him really kind of cement himself and be that more familiar FPL midfield asset and contributor that he has been in seasons past. And then like you mentioned, Bomo's still kind of lurking. He's going to be coming back soon. Was on a good little run there. Does he, kind of exhale when he comes back from AFCON, or does he come back rejuvenated and ready to push for maybe top 4? They're only, I'm not a math guy, but, they're only, 1 game off of top 4. They're tied on goal differential right now. So somehow it's not out of the picture.
It's tight.
Yeah.
A lot of teams are bunched in there.
Unrelated to the players, but did you see the pictures of Amarim after he got fired? How happy he looked?
No.
He looked like he was so thrilled. I don't know if he just had like a phenomenal severance package, or just he looked like the weight of the world was lifted on him, off him.
It was.
Yeah, good for him.
Must be nice.
Speaking of new managers,
this one caught me off guard.
This one, Enzo Maresca out. Rumors that he is the heir to the throne over at City. I think Pep's on track to retire after the season. That's the rumors circulating. Appointed Liam Rossinier, former, I believe he played at Hull. I think I saw that. Apparently, kind of a tactical, systematic guy. I know nothing about him. Do you know anything about this guy?
I do not. I no.
Good. That's good. That's perfect, because that means we can just kind of skip over him. I think maybe we're pronouncing his name the right way.
Yeah.
As far as FPL assets go, I think to start the season, right, we were somewhat surprised by Enzo and Caicedo. They were kind of getting returns. Caicedo has kind of fallen off. I don't think he's getting the attacking returns, which is probably more so what we expected.
Somebody brought him in, and then he got a red card.
Yeah.
Ice cold.
Enzo, interested to see, again, like kind of how these lineups play out. Not looking to necessarily bring him in right now. Palmer, though, I think is a player that when he's healthy, regardless of who the manager is, they're going to find a way to, use him the way that he can be used
Yeah.
to, to his strength. João Pedro has been a little bit meh the last few weeks. And then, Reece James had been on a nice little run. I think we looked, Trevor Chalobah was also having a nice little campaign in the back line there as well. But yeah, I think right now, just for Chelsea, it's a little bit hold, right? Wait and see what Rossinier decides to do. But
yeah, I think the only one you roll the dice on would be Palmer, but anybody else, no, not for me.
Not for me. Okay. You want to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. What do you got for Fulham?
Fulham. So another one, surprising where they are in the table. Like you said, Harry Wilson cracked top 5, so he's got 100 points. I mean, he's leading the team with 7 goals. I think he had a hat trick, right?
I want to say that's right. That sounds right.
So it's kind of been the same thing all season with them. It's like, who do you actually bring in? Because he has 7. I think that had a hat trick. The next highest scorer is Raul Jimenez with 5, and then Emil Smith-Rowe with 3. It's really not, consistent goal scorers week in and week out. We can't trust their defense. Was it Anthony King who was the cheap asset that we had high hopes for?
Josh King.
Josh King. He lost his.
Shame on you.
I think I work with an Anthony King.
Disrespectful.
But yeah, it's the same. Goals are too inconsistent. Defense, too many holes in it to trust. So I will not be bringing in anybody.
Yeah. You don't do well when you get like a lot of holes around you. You do better when there's like one hole.
You like Raul Jimenez. Anybody else on Fulham you want to talk?
Viva la Mexico. Yeah, no, the only other thing, and it's not even a player that I would consider, but it was just kind of a fun fact. The consistency of Alex Iwobi, who at his age, I think has now played like 13 seasons in the Prem, has started like 36 games at least in like all 13 seasons. He's on pace to do that, I think, again. Or, well, I shouldn't speak for this season, but and he's had like at least 10 goals and like it's some like crazy stat of consistency.
I've got it up. None of those things you just said are correct.
Okay, what is read it verbatim. Go ahead then.
No, I don't. I'm looking at his seasons. He's never
I have
had
it pinned.
He's
No,
never
I
had
have it
36
bookmarked.
goals. He's never had 36 games consistently. He's never scored 10 goals.
Let me get the exact numbers then. Hang on. Twitter, Alex Iwobi, stats, consistency.
I mean, that was just an absurd.
Okay, hang on. I think I've got it right here. Let's see.
I mean, this year he only has 2 goals.
I said exclude this year because it's not over yet. Let's see if I can find it here. I had it pinned on my phone, but my phone is being used as my camera right now, so I can't look at it right now. And I don't have my login to Twitter on.
Seems like we just can't trust you.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up and then I'll copy and paste it. Maybe we'll discuss it on the next episode.
Let's
Because I don't want folks to think I'm a liar. I don't want to be incredible. Speaking of incredible, Sunderland, what a season they're having. Steam is lit up. I'm gonna fly through this one. Fly through this one. It's Ropes. That's the only player. Well, I take it back. Then they've got a couple of defenders, right? Mukiele, Reynaldo. Once they come back from AFCON, right? They're those cheap defenders that seem to be involved, whether it be DEFCON in the attack every now and then. So I think those are still kind of the folks that you would target, but nothing in the attack. I don't think you're going and getting, Granit Xhaka or anything like that.
No.
Oh, they're going to stay up. They're not going to get relegated.
Yeah.
Get used to them. Sunderland are here to stay for at least one more season.
Inspirational.
Speaking of inspirational, Seagulls.
Your favorite man, Minta.
Your boy.
Brighton are in 11th.
Brighton are 11th. They are the definition of mid. 11th place, 31 goals scored, 28 goals allowed. So basically even, right?
Not going to get relegated. Not going to hit Europe.
In their last 5 games, draw, loss, draw, win, draw. I mean, that is like incredible.
Yeah.
They're perfectly even.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you've had to Kuiper on your team now. With Minta, not Minta, Matoma. With Matoma back, I don't know if De Kuiper becomes a reasonable option at this point.
No, he's dropped his minutes again, and I dropped him. So I mean, you got to say Welbeck is the only one that you would really, if you were forced to pick one, it would be Welbeck because he's had a pretty good season, even with.
Yeah, but are his minutes even there right now? I don't think so.
They're not consistent, but he's returned quite a bit.
Yeah, so he actually hasn't he hasn't started in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He hasn't started in 5 of the last 6 and 7 of the last 8. So he's not playing, and I don't think it's because of injury. I don't know, Jim. I don't even think I would touch Danny Welbeck.
I said if you were forced, I wouldn't be touching him.
Well, first off, don't touch anyone. You gotta ask permission,
Then
and then you
ask
can touch
again.
them. Then ask again. I don't know, Brighton or
Yeah, moving on.
moving on. Everton, a team that actually I feel like had some good momentum to start the season. I don't think their table position necessarily reflects their FPL asset potential. Right? You've got Grealish, you've got Njai, you've got Tarkowski, you've got Dewsbury Hall when he's healthy. Am I missing anyone here? I guess Pickford. He's always kind of good for just the saves because he's going to be active back there. Believe it or not, James Garner is actually also, I think,
Yeah, he's had a nice
he's
season.
actually, yeah, he's in the top 10 for midfielders as well. He's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's ninth. He's ninth with 95 points on the season, above Enzo, above Gravenberch, right before Saka. So kind of very much under the radar. And then Michael Keane, who is suspended until the end of the month, and good for him.
Yeah,
He's
they
also having a
have a
very
leg
good
start.
season, only 4 points. Yeah, only 4 points behind Tarkowski. So there's and Pickford is actually the second rated goalkeeper with 90 points, only 5 points behind Rofe. So good example of a team that the table position's not great, but they've got some pretty good FPL assets.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hold off judgment until Ndiaye comes back and they get some more time together.
I love that. I love that. When's Dewsbury Hall coming back?
Uh,
Let's see if he's. It's an unknown return date, but I wonder if Thought Mob would tell us anything a little bit more.
It just says doubtful. He's been out since December 12th.
Expected return doubtful. Yeah, that's not helpful at all.
No, that's not good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Well,
I mean he's so cheap. I guess you could always just stash him if the money's there. But you
yeah,
know, I wouldn't expect to be using your bench boost anytime soon. I would anticipate there'll be a double game week much later in the season. So if you're thinking about am I going to need my bench boost now? You won't. So just a thought. Speaking of thoughts, oh, it's kind of nose dived. Um, all the way down now to 13th. They were kind of pushing that Europa,
tough.
pushing. I think they were even top 4 for a little bit.
He had
28 points.
12 game unbeaten streak, right?
Yeah, they were some pretty. They just lost to what is it Maxfield
Yeah,
in was it
it
the FA Cup? Was it they lost
is.
a bunch of no names, like a bunch of
None.
part timers. Yeah, not great. Glasner he's not coming back. Munoz is. I think he's on target to return probably by the end of the month. Don't quote me on that. But their big move they brought. What's that?
That's what it originally was. I don't know what
Okay.
this.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard any setbacks, so I'm assuming that's still kind of accurate. But their big signing was they brought in Brendan Johnson from Spurs for 45 million pounds. So someone who he's kind of etched in Spurs lore. Kind of scored that goal allegedly in the Europa League final a few months
I know.
ago, but wasn't really getting any minutes for Spurs this season. When he did, he had a few goals here and there, but he should be slotted right in. I would think. I think he's going to get all the chance to play. Do you think it's someone he'd be worth bringing in?
No, no. They have just not looked good. Munoz is injured. Mateta has looked like a shell of himself. I mean,
He's overweight. He needs to lose a few pounds.
so no. I mean, offensively, they're struggling so much that I don't think Brandon Johnson, based on what we've seen the last 2 years, is going to fix that by himself. So I think they
He's
need
still trying to bang that OnlyFans star.
they need additions before I'm going to bring in anybody from Palace.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the
Especially
Palace
Gay
target
Heat
has to
from
be
the
yeah, I was just gonna say the Palace target has to be defense, but if Gahey leaves, that would make me worried. LaCroix and Richards have been, good targets, especially on the budget piece for Richards. LaCroix's up there for the defenders. I think he's ranked 6th, I want to say. So he's just right outside that kind of top tier. Yeah, he's ranked 7th. So just outside. He's actually at 98 points. So, just kind of keeping that in mind. We'll have to see if he leaves. That'd be interesting to see. I mean, he's a free agent in the summer. So
They would be
I
stupid
feel like
not.
it'd be so stupid.
They're
Like,
not gonna get relegated. Like, cash in.
yeah, I mean they're 14 points up on West Ham. That'd
Yeah.
be quite the bottle job at this point. Yeah. So speaking of
Speaking of
relegated,
relegated,
that brings us to the dumpster fire that
I think
is,
I think we keep this quick because we're gonna go
yeah,
we're gonna go all
yeah. Are there any players that you would target right now?
I brought in Pedro Porro the last game week because we do have West Ham and Burnley,
Mhm.
and we had Bournemouth, who I thought Semenyo was gone, so I thought that would have been a nice 3-game run there.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think that was a mistake. I think you should not have any Spurs assets.
Yeah. You are doing the same thing I did. I looked at the Spurs fixtures and I said to myself, "Wow,
Yeah,
that seems like a good run, at least over the next 3 or 4." And I cannot get myself to sell Mickey Van de Ven, who every day he is on that team, I think he just gets closer to being gone in the summer.
yeah, he's a happy.
But I love him. He is an awesome, awesome player for our team. Yeah, Kudus is going to be out for a long time, which is great because we just sold Brennan Johnson. Javi hasn't figured it out yet. Cole Mwani's not useful. Richarlison, I think, tore his hamstring. So, like, we are screwed. Conor Gallagher just came in, but that's not really someone you would bring into your squad.
Solanke's back,
I like the Solanke's back, but he hasn't done anything yet. Does he get penalties? Probably.
probably. And
He should.
Gallagher's not confirmed. So,
He was Here We Go.
are you sure? Because
He was Fabrizio Here We Go.
I was seeing that Villa were trying to snatch him, and they were waiting on his decision.
I saw Fabrizio Here We Go.
Okay.
I'll text Fabrizio and see what he says. But
Hey, Fabs.
hey Fabiano. Yeah, no, they got to fire Frank. Hopefully, Zabi, who's now left Madrid, maybe he can, maybe he's open, or even like maybe they can go get Jurgen Klopp. I don't know. Just somebody do something.
Buddy.
So yeah, Spurs suck right now. Speaking of sucking, Bournemouth, right beneath them, 26 points. They are riddled with injuries right now. So Semenyo just left. Kluivert, I believe, is it Kluivert or Tavernier who's injured right now?
I think it's
Tavernier.
Tavernier
Is it?
just
No, yeah, Kluivert is injured right now. He's got a knee injury. He's going to be out till May. So it's really Evan Nilsson, it's Krupi Jr., and it's Ye. So Tavernier is going to be priced at 5.5 mil. He's got 86 points on the season, which is pretty good. But he should also be on penalties. So he's actually a player who I think I would expect to see his ownership actually to rise. However, folks, they were targeting Senesi to begin the season, who's really kind of fallen off. If you think about how well he was doing, he's only at 88 points. So for him to not be in that top, tier of defenders, it's a little bit concerning. Bournemouth's defense has just been atrocious, and somehow Spurs didn't beat them last week.
yeah.
They were winless in like their last 13, and Spurs like let them win.
That's what Spurs do.
But,
The magic
that's
medicine.
yeah, but otherwise, I mean, anything else on? I think we hit. I think the Bournemouth attackers that are healthy for their price are decent value. But you've said it all along. Money's not an issue this season.
I don't think we'll know what their real value is with Semenyo gone until we see in a few games.
That's fair.
He's so good.
That's
He
fair.
changes how the defense is going to look at him. So how they can do
True.
without him is going to be big.
True that. Okay.
Speaking of big, DCL's leads 22 points, 16th place, so 8 points above the drop. All he needed was just a little doubting from you, and he's put together quite a season.
He's such a lint licker.
I mean, I think they've done enough that I think they're probably going to stay up. So obviously he's got 9 goals now. Stock is the other, cheap midfielder that has looked great at times. He's gotten a couple big goals and some bonus points. So, surprised coming into the season that he's done so well and really not their wing backs. But I don't know. It just feels like they've done enough to stay up, but it's that same sort of, who do you trust? Stock is cheap enough to keep on your bench and slot in if you need somebody for a matchup. But
right.
Even DCL, I don't know. That it's a risk to take up an attacking spot for him. I don't know.
I think if he's your third attacker, he's worth the risk.
What's he up to now? Let me look.
I think I just saw he's still at 5.8.
Pretty good.
No, sorry, he's up to 6 mil. So he started the season at 5.5.
Yeah.
He is the fourth highest scoring forward.
And
So, and he didn't really start playing, I think, until game week 2 or 3, because I remember he
Yeah.
signed, I think, on our game week 1 deadline episode. I think that was when he was brought into the game. So, yeah, I mean, he's been healthy. He's been playing well. I think, we talked about Voltemade moving out. DCL is probably the player. If not DCL, maybe you're looking at a Bowen. But I don't really know who else you'd be looking at, you know?
Thiago.
Well, true, unless you have Thiago already. So I'm assuming you have Thiago and Holland already, just because that they're so affordable.
Yeah.
But either way, the only other two players just to call out, and you're not having them in your squad for any other reason than they are very cheap and they are nailed, and that's Joe Roden and Goodmanson. They're both priced under 4 mil. Roden's at 3.9 and Goodmanson's, I think, at 3.8 right now, maybe 3.9. It is very late in the season to have two starters under 4 mil. That could do wonders for your budget, especially if you're trying to go from, say, a Raya to a Gabriel and you need to get, an extra 0.2 or 0.3 to make that move. So just throwing that out there.
And they both chipped in with some attacks
At
here.
times.
So
At times. You're right.
nothing
You're
to
right.
count on, but a nice little surprise.
Yeah. I want to propose something to you. The next 4 teams. So we got Forest, West Ham, Burnley, and Wolves in that order. I would kind of argue that there's only one player from those 4 teams that would even be worth considering, and I just mentioned him.
Yep, Bowen.
That being Bowen.
Yep.
Oh, special shout out to Tati Castellanos, who's making his way over to West Ham United.
Yeah, I was happy to see that.
Tati.
I'm hoping he turns him around and Forrest make the drop. But
I would love that. But yeah, so I mean, Bowen, who's the third best, highest scoring forward, another one who you could move on from Voltemade and bring in Bowen. They did bring in a few forwards, so I don't know if that changes where Bowen ends up playing or whatnot. But either way, I mean,
it'd be good
just
enough.
looking at those, yeah, I mean, I guess from Forest, maybe you would look at, Gibbs White, but no,
Yeah.
no one's really looking at Gibbs White. So, I mean, those 4 teams, Jimbo, in that order, who's getting relegated, and are there any other players you would target?
I think my prediction preseason was Wolves, Burnley, West Ham.
Wow. We'll have to look back at the tape.
It was definitely Wolves and West Ham. I'm pretty sure Burnley, because I love Leeds too much to throw them in. Is there anybody else to target? No. I mean, maybe a Burnley defender. I think Esteve is still 3.9. So, I mean, I think he's still 3.9. I still have him on my team just because he's so cheap and, just filling it out. But I don't think I've started him on purpose in months.
Yeah. Dubravka's a tough one to even have in the squad, but he's so cheap. It's so easy. If he ever doesn't start, then it's going to be tough.
Yeah. So, I mean, that rounds out the table. Still a lot of games left. Arsenal have 6-point lead, so nothing that we haven't seen them blow before. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Excitement.
And yeah, I mean, it could happen, sometimes. And it's good that we do like a little bit of a health check here, midway through the season. Have you been getting we're getting a little bit older in age, right? Now, what are you, 42 now?
Yeah, this year I'll be.
Okay, 42. I just turned 26, so I have a little bit of time. But it's important that when you get up to your age, you get some regular checks
of things. Yeah,
yeah, and we're guys. Sometimes it's hard for us to talk about this kind of stuff, but it's important that you get regular checks, down there, and
down there, and
sometimes down there and up there, but really down there. You got to make sure you go see. The Ass Man.
That's true. And this episode is actually brought to you by the Ass Man. A title, a legacy, a clerical error at the Department of Motor Vehicles that changed the entire trajectory of a man's life. You go in looking for a simple vanity plate, maybe your name, maybe your hobby, and you walk out as a legend of the proctology world. It's 1,000,000 to 1 shot, Doc. 1,000,000 to 1. Being the Ass Man isn't just about the vanity plate. It's about the responsibility. It's about the nods of respect from your fellow medical professionals in the hospital parking lot. It's about, hey, you're the Ass Man, shout from total strangers as you cruise down the West Side Highway. You don't choose the Ass Man life, the Ass Man life, and very confused government employee chooses you. Whether you're a proctologist, a fan of the Fusilli Jerry, or just someone who accidentally found themselves in a very specific line of work, you need your own identity. You don't back down. You don't return the plates. You take that brown Ford LTD and you drive it with pride. Because in this city, you're either a nobody or you're the guy who knows his way around a very specific part of the human anatomy. Stop by your local DMV today and see what Destiny has in store for your bumper. Visit milliontoneplates.com and use code TINKER for a free license plate frame that really makes those letters pop. That's milliontoneplates.com, code TINKER. The Ass Man. According to the state of New York, you are the one. I gotta say,
All right.
I do love our sponsors. I love that they do this. I have no idea what that was an ad for.
It's an app for Men's Health.
I guess so, but it's also for the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles. I don't know.
It's provocative. It gets the people going. No one knows what it means. Um, whatever. Hey, it puts bread on the table. That's what's important.
Manja.
Yeah. So, like we said, we're not going to go through and do like a weekly recap, but we did just want to, at least give a quick update on how the table sits after 21 game weeks. So, uh, at the top of the table with 89 points, actually besting the team of the season, the man, the myth, the legend, Paul Gonzalez. Keep it up, Paul. You're doing great.
Yeah.
In second place, Henry Paradise with 1,264 points. Third place, Austin Magaro with 50 points. Fourth place, my brother-in-law, Matt Wannett with 1,200 points even. His inaugural season. Good for him. He ran a half marathon this past weekend. Good for him.
That's too far.
My sister-in-law shit 3 times during the half marathon.
I don't
She
think
also ran it.
wants it.
We're not gonna edit that out. Hopefully she hears that. Anyway, yeah, and so that's rounding out the and Jim Aram with 1,197 points rounded out the top 5. Not a ton of movement. We, however, are still beating Lord Tinkerton. Lord Tinkerton's down at the bottom with 1,017. You have jumped over him. You're now in 15th place
I'm gunning
with
for you now.
1,042, and I'm in 12th place, 1,122 points. So definitely got some ground to make up. Tough couple game weeks here.
80 points ahead. That's nothing.
It's
That's like
nothing.
2 good
Nothing.
captain picks for me.
Yeah. I've had a tough couple of game weeks. I know. I gotta do better. Speaking of captain's picks, so captain's draft, we were still very diligent about making our picks week in, week out. So when on our last record, Jim was sitting at 27 points through game week 17. I was sitting at 35. Jim's picks, effectively from 18 to 21, were Foden, Palmer, Ertz, and Bowen, which makes him at this point in time sitting at 48 points. And my picks, respectively, were Verts, Cunha, Bowen, and Watkins, which means I am sitting at 53 points. Jim was able to close the gap a little bit over the last 4 game weeks. Jim, you will also be picking first for game week 22, which we will do our picks in our deadline episode coming up.
Sounds good.
You're on the up.
I'm awesome.
I feel like I said this to you, back it was maybe like game week 9 or 10. I was like, all you have to do is just get like 5 to 10 points net on everyone every week, and you're right back in it. You're doing it.
My transfers have been hitting, and I think that's what it's been.
I think the kids are calling them fire. I think your transfers have been fire. I think that's what they say.
Yeah. I guess my transfers have been fire.
Yeah. We're not getting into the preview. You're a fire guy. Fire sauce, Taco Bell.
Mamma mia.
We're not going to get into previewing game week 22 in depth, but just looking at the slate, very, very, very high level. We got the Manchester Derby kicking off, 7:30 fixture. What a treat. Great way to start the weekend. Other fixtures that jump out on Saturday, honestly, they all kind of suck, which I don't know. Hopefully Spurs come out with a win. We've got 2 fixtures on Sunday and then 1 on Monday as well. I mean, I mentioned the Derby, but anything else kind of jump out to you?
Not really.
No. But we'll talk about it. We will talk about it on the preview app. And we'll go through and we'll do all our team selections on our next deadline app. So we'll do a record maybe a couple days from now. What do you think? We'll get back on the mics.
Yeah, I don't see anything that would stop us.
I gotta ask you, New Year's resolutions. What do you got?
My wife said I need to enunciate better, so I guess that.
Is she saying that like you slur your words a lot?
I don't know. I think
That kind of feels like she's saying something without saying something.
yeah. I don't know.
I like you just the way you are.
How about you?
I think my resolution, I haven't thought of it yet, but I think if I'm thinking about it right now, is probably to have fewer resolutions and just be better, just
Uh,
all around. Just be better all around,
I mean,
right?
yeah. I mean that should be pretty easy. You got a
What's
lot
that?
to look
Isn't there
through.
isn't there that character that has like that quote where he's like, if you have no goals, then it's easier to achieve them. Isn't there's some character I think from a movie that has like a quote like that. He's like, I like to have no goals because then it's very easy to achieve them. And then if you do anything good, then you really like overachieved. I'll have to look that one up too.
I don't know. It sounds inspirational. Or you could do the
Yeah.
Michael Scott and do a cartwheel at 12:01, and then you did your
Boy. Yeah. Um this felt good. I know we had to shake off some rust, but
to
I
get
think
back.
we got through it. It's great to get back. I think we're on pace for some big things this year.
Yeah. I think we gotta get back to a, in-person record as well.
Oof,
The new
I
Studio
would love
2.0
that.
is Studio 2.0 has gotta get set up here, but
We're both gonna be getting new studios,
that's right. That's right.
more or less, more or less. Yeah, some libations. I was going through my camera roll today, pulling out some photos to post for my wife's birthday. Shout out Chris, happy birthday. Love you.
Gotta
And
love.
I was going through and I found the video, I think I sent it to you when Chris was saying that she had a beer in her hand, she was cheersing and she was like, you guys just gotta loosen up. You gotta just, have a drink, just have your personality come through. And I think she's right. I think we have to have more drinks, so but you gotta make sure you're being more articulate and enunciating.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That'll be tricky.
that'll be tricky, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Full gear.
But, we can try really hard, on our next deadline episode. So, there'll be another episode, coming out on Friday, our Gameweek 22 deadline episode. But in the meantime, please do go like, subscribe, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, our YouTube channel. Drop us a comment. Let us know how your last 4 game weeks went. Your biggest surprise on the table. Let us know your New Year's resolutions, your favorite Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa gift that maybe you received. All Saints Day. I think that happened. Chinese New Year. Anything that you maybe are celebrating. That might not have happened yet. I don't even know.
Mm,
Um, not yet. Not out. And as always, it's still not too late. Join our mini league. We'll drop the league code in our description as always. And I am very happy to say thank you for joining us on Tinker Time. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop your captain picks in the comments, and we will talk to you soon. Happy tinkering.
Draft dreams rise like morning sun, chasing points, the game's begun. Big decisions week by week, fantasy glory's what we seek. Pick your squad, the